A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Today we are going to dive into the evolution of India's intercity travel sector and how sustainability and technology are shaping the future of mobility. In conversation tonight with Prakash Sangam, CEO of redBus. Thank you, Prakash, for joining us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Now, the intercity bus travel sector is a massive but often under-discussed part of India's transport ecosystem. How do you view the current state of the industry?
So you're right in a sense that if you look at people traveling between cities, two-thirds of all travel happens over road. About 30% happens on rail and only about 4% happens on flights. And within road, also the predominant mode of travel and transport is over buses. So bus transport is a very, very large sector that moves many Indians on a daily basis. But yet, it is perhaps not very well represented because of a few reasons. One of them is that if you look at the people providing the services, unlike railways, which is a giant government-owned entity, or if you take civil aviation, where you have got large airline companies, when it comes to bus transport, you have got largely MSMEs involved in this sector, right?
Right.
And as a result of that, you have the fact that there are no large names. For example, if you look at how many airline companies are listed, whereas how many bus operators are publicly listed, there are presently none, right? And therefore there is less data, less awareness. So data being also in short supply is an issue. The other factor is that both when it comes to other modes of intercity transport, they are governed centrally, whereas road is very, very decentralized. And that also means that there is less kind of, central, when it comes to large media houses paying attention and focus, it's a bit low. But having said, things are changing though. Things are changing a lot. And one of the things that we are doing as redBus to get and spotlight more, on the sector, to solve for the fact that there is less data, we have launched something called India Bus Track. This is a quarterly and an annual report that we put out that captures the size of the private bus market in India, and also from a point of view of recognition, right? We have launched the redBus People Choice Awards as part of the Bharat Prewards Awards. We believe that People's Choice Awards is again a very good way of recognizing bus operators who are doing a good job in this space, and that also gets much needed recognition for this sector overall. The sector itself is doing quite well and has been growing quite rapidly.
Now, from a startup in 2006 to becoming the world's largest online bus ticketing platform, redBus has seen an incredible journey. How would you assess redBus's growth story?
So the growth story of redBus is in parallel to what has been happening generally in the Indian economy. As a company, we were incubated in 2006. So since then, India has seen a lot of economic growth and prosperity, which then flows into the need for transportation. We have also been part of the whole digital revolution, right? So we have seen phases of growth where we began as a desktop-only website where you could access the website through desktop computers and laptop computers, and then the growth of mobiles, which happened in the previous decade, that enabled a lot more people to access our products and services online. That then led to smartphones being cheaper, and that made it more affordable for people to buy mobile phones and access this. But then data costs were a challenge. And then in 2016, with the whole drop in prices for data, that again made a lot more people come on the online bandwagon, right? Then the constraining factor became how many people are able to do an online transaction, and that changed with the launch of UPI and with demonetization that drove the behavior change in terms of people adopting to digital payments. So all of these have been tailwinds around the growth of redBus as a business, and we can't say that the impact of that has been less. Now, having said that, what is it that we have done? We have been very, very focused in terms of bringing in innovation into this space in order to further grow the market. If you go back to when we launched at 2006, the business model that we have of a two-sided marketplace, that by itself is an innovative business model, right? Only very few companies were platform businesses at that point. And we have done a very, very good job over the period in making sure that both sides of the marketplace, the bus operators and the customers, they are finding value hand in hand, right? The bus transport industry is composed mainly of MSMEs. These are small businesses which are not very large known brands. Therefore, there's an element of trust that has to be created for people to transact online, right? And that trust came in through a very, very robust ratings and reviews platform that we created. And because of ratings, customers are able to identify which are good bus operators, and then they are able to have the trust to transact. And the ratings and reviews also become a very strong feedback mechanism flowing into operators to help them improve the experiences that they're able to put forward to for their traveling passengers, right? And the way we have constituted the platform is that the platform has rewarded those operators who provide better services through better ratings and has in a way punished operators who have not been doing a good job, right? Another aspect of bus travel is the fact that there is a lot of uncertainty about boarding the bus because a
Right.
lot of the boarding happens in a very informal location, and therefore one big issue for customers is knowing where the bus is. So we solve that through GPS tracking on buses. Now that is again a good benefit for customers because they are able to track the bus in real time. They know the ETA of the bus to their boarding point. They get wake up call alarms for overnight travel. For bus operators, again, it helps their cause a lot because it gives
Right.
them a lot of detailed understanding about fleet management, how their buses are being driven, is there overspeeding, what is the kind of punctuality that they're maintaining. So all of these factors, so whenever we've been innovating, we've been doing it, keeping both sides of the ecosystem, which are the traveling passengers as well as the bus operators in mind. And those innovative solutions have helped grow and propel this business further.
Now, India's transport infrastructure is still evolving. What are the key infrastructural challenges you encounter, and how do you ensure reliable connectivity across 4.2 lakh routes?
So on the physical infrastructure side, I think we have been very fortunate because over the last 2 decades or so, we have been as a country on a highway building spree, right? Which has been a massive boost to the growth of road transport in particular, right? So that infrastructure improvement has really helped. What we would like to see is infrastructure around boarding. So if you look at a bus travel experience today, the buses themselves have improved a lot. And therefore, when a customer steps into the bus, the experience is very good. The buses tend to run on roads and highways, which are very smooth. The time to travel has been cut down. However, one issue remains, which is about how do people board the bus. So like I mentioned earlier too, the boarding infrastructure has not kept pace. We don't have like bus terminals similar to an airport or railway terminals. Wherever there are bus terminals, they are far and few between, and they are typically made available only for the local state transport corporations to use. So I think there is need to be able to create more such boarding infrastructure, connect that to multimodal forms of transport within the city, which will ease the first mile and last mile connectivity. And therefore, the end to end journey becomes more smooth and seamless. I think this is some work that has to be done on the infrastructure side. Now, coming on to your question about how do we keep the lights on when it comes to our network of 4.2 lakh routes, I think a lot of that is again credit to the tech infrastructure that we have built out in the country. Today, even if I were to go to a small town and we were to onboard a bus operator, we know that having a reliable internet connection is not a problem. And therefore, we are able to digitize the operations of that bus operator by giving them free software. So we provide them a free software that helps them digitize their bus operations. We train them on how to configure their inventory, how to set prices, which makes sense online. This is done through a program called Sathi, wherein we work very, very closely with uh, new bus operators that we have onboarded on the platform, and we provide them a lot of support in terms of handholding to streamline their operations. On the consumer side, to make sure that they are able to also experience these services, we have also now launched our interfaces in local native language. So we offer that in 5 Indian languages. And therefore, people coming in from, let's say, smaller town or pop class, they can also be comfortable, they can feel comfortable to access our services because we're getting all the kind of inventory that they use. We have been able to get them online.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. We're in conversation with Prakash Sangam, CEO of redBus, on how ambition and agility can drive lasting change in one of India's most vital yet under-discussed sectors. Listen in. And well, technology has transformed bus ticketing and online ticketing in general. In your view, how is technology going to shape the larger travel experience?
Oh, it's already doing that in a big way, Ritwika. So just to explain to you, about a decade ago, when we were very clear that the next wave of internet access is going to be through the mobile phones. Uh, at that point in time, we took a very conscious product call that our product philosophy is to move from being a ticket booking platform to being a true travel companion. Because what happens is that with a mobile phone, people carry that with them in the journey, right? So therefore, you can deliver a lot of experiences on the mobile that makes the entire journey experience smooth. So one of the things that we've been speaking about is the lack of proper boarding infrastructure. People have to board buses by through curbside or bus roadside pickups. Now, how does a customer even know where he has to wait for a bus? So one of the things that we have done is to geocode all the boarding points in all the major metros,
Right.
and then we are able to do a mashup with Google Maps to navigate people to the exact boarding point. Right? The second issue, like I mentioned, is once they're waiting at the boarding point, but they have no idea where the bus is, right? And to solve for that, we have put GPS on all the buses. Today, more than 90% of all the tickets that we sell on the platform get a live tracking link, which can help them look at where is the bus on a real-time basis. We are also able to predict the estimated time of arrival of that bus to the person's boarding point, and they can also share that link of tracking with their friends and family for added safety and comfort. Most of the bus travel in India happens overnight. Right? Buses tend to arrive at the destination early in the morning, and people are worried that if I'm sleeping, I may end up missing my dropping point. So again, we use the location information that we have of the bus. We know the dropping point of the customer, and we trigger a wake-up call to the customer about 5 kilometers before their dropping point is going to come. Right. So these are ways in which we are influencing the travel behavior already, and very similar. If you look at on our trains business, we also do a lot of value-added products. So we tell customers what is the platform that the train is likely to come. They can locate the platform. They can know the coach position in advance. We show them the live train status. There we don't get the GPS data. We use a community sourcing of people inside the train. We use their location information to tell everyone as to where the train is at a point in time. And if something were to go wrong, we are available 24 bar 7. We have got a very well trained and a very strong process
Right.
oriented workflows to help people if they are having problems in either locating the bus or boarding the bus or any other issue. So these are the ways in which we are kind of contributing to how the journey itself gets better. And as part of our larger group, like we are part of Make My Trip, right? So Make My Trip, very recently we have launched uh, food on trains. So we are working with Zomato to be able to enable, give the capability to people to book food, at various stations that could come along the way, right? So they don't have to depend just on the pantry food that they get. So these are stuff that we have been doing to influence travel experience. And going forward, again, I think as we keep innovating, there are more and more such solutions that will emerge.
So redBus has expanded into other markets like Singapore, Malaysia, and Cambodia. What's been your biggest learning from international operations?
Well, the learning has been that a lot of things that we have built in India can be seamlessly transported to markets outside India, because the fundamental needs that a traveling customer has or a bus operator has doesn't change between markets. So if you look at travelers, they are looking for selection. They want choice of inventory on the platform. Similarly, on the bus operator side, they are looking for more sales such that the occupancy goes up, and they're looking for predictable cash flows. And they're looking for technology support that will help them run their business in a more effective manner, right, and efficient manner. So the needs are broadly the same, and therefore our learning has been that the things that we develop in one market can be easily ported to other markets. What we have also seen is that there could be nuances which are different, right? For example, in Malaysia, when we went there, we found that the way people look for information when they were searching was to say that I want to go from this locality in Kuala Lumpur to this locality in Singapore. Whereas in India, people say I want to go from a Bangalore to a Chennai, right? So we had to tweak our system for that market to support a boarding point, dropping point search instead of a city to city search. But now that we did that for Malaysia, we saw the value of that, and we have now taken that to India as well. And it's also very relevant for other global markets that we have. So these are some of the learnings that we have had, that the fundamental needs are the same, but there could be some tactical changes that we have to do to the platform. But those tactical changes then make the platform stronger, and it gives us the capability to then extend those nuances and those features that we have built to other markets as well.
Given the global focus on sustainability, how do you see your role in greener mobility? Is redBus exploring partnerships or innovations in electric or alternative fuel buses?
So sustainability will happen for sure, right? It's a matter of time. Um, we will see a transition away from fossil fuels to more renewable sources of energy. And that journey will happen. It's about seeing that how could we accelerate this journey. And if you look at it, intercity buses or intercity travel is a very, very like a good use case for EV buses, because EVs are typically more expensive. The capex cost of a EV bus is much higher than a regular bus. And therefore, when you're buying a more expensive asset, then you will only make money if you're able to sweat that asset a lot more. Now, when it comes to intercity buses, these buses run many, many more kilometers than what an intracity bus does. So you've got the opportunity to sweat this asset over a long, or by using it and running it over longer periods, and therefore your break even, etc., is faster. Having said that, so far we have not seen a very large penetration of EVs in the intercity space due to some constraining factors. One of them has been the government focus has been on giving subsidies to EV buses, which are primarily favoring the intracity business. As a result, even the OEMs, their capacities are completely chock-a-block with supplying to the intracity market. Now, the form factor of a bus that you need for intercity is different, right? So the OEMs have to now start concentrating on intercity, which they have started to, but still the capacity constraints do remain. Now, when it comes to the typical lenders to bus operators, they understand the economics very well of a diesel bus because they've been lending for that operations for a very long time. So people completely understand what's the resale value, what's the residual value, but those data points are not available yet for EVs, right? So the entire funding itself is limited, or when it is available, the cost of funds are high. So these are some factors that the industry is grappling with. And what we are looking to do at redBus is to play the role of a catalyst here, work with all of these different stakeholders and help the industry transition to this EV platform. So we are creating a lot of partnerships designed to solve for these challenges that I spoke about. And the other thing that we are doing on the consumer side, on the demand side, is to promote EVs a bit differentially on the platform. We are calling out EV buses very clearly to customers. We are telling them what is the kind of carbon saving they are doing when they book a EV. And these are some steps that we'll continue to do going forward to help this transition from fossil fuels to more sustainable forms of transportation.
And well, looking ahead, where do you see the mobility sector in the next 5 to 10 years?
So the mobility sector has a very bright future um, because transportation is very, very positively indexed to economic growth. And if I were to focus on road transportation, I think there are a lot of factors that are macro factors that are enabling the growth of road transportation to be even faster. One of the primary reasons for that is the infrastructure creation and improvement that has happened, and it continues to happen at a rapid rate. So we have to think about how do we enable multimodal forms of transportation that will involve both multimodal terminals for connecting intercity transport options. It could be bus, train, airports at some point, and even connecting that very well to the intra-city transport options, mobility options of people, such that the entire leg of end-to-end transport can be improved. And therefore, I have a very, very positive outlook on this sector overall in general.
Well, fantastic. This was a great conversation, Prakash. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.